Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and since the Big Ten Media Day was today, in this video we're going to be going over everything that Coach Jim Harbaugh and the players for Michigan said at the Media Day today. There are a lot of comments made, a lot of questions asked, so with that being said, we're going to dive into it all in this video. So if you guys are new around here, I'd really appreciate it if you could go ahead, hit that subscribe button, leave a like on the video. If you do, go ahead to enjoy, comment down below, and make sure you guys watch the whole entire video. And other than that, let's get right into today's video. So if you guys did not know, Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh and 4 senior players took the stage at Big Ten Media Day today. Big Ten Media Day is actually set for what was today and tomorrow, Wednesday. But so yeah, head coach Jim Harbaugh and, like I said, 4 senior players, including quarterback Cade McNamara, tight end Eric All, defensive tackle Mozzie Smith, and cornerback DJ Turner, all were there today. I'm sure it was cool for those 4 players to be back in Indianapolis, in Lucas Oil Stadium, where obviously they won the Big Ten championship, beat Iowa 42-3 to win the Big Ten championship. So I'm sure it was cool for them to be back, and Coach Harbaugh, as they get ready for a big season coming up. So in Harbaugh's opening statement, he said that it's been a tremendous offseason. He also said that there has been zero entitlement the entire offseason for his team. He said life is good, and he said they are ready to start and get training camp underway. Now, he was then asked about the quarterback battle, and he said that the best player is going to play, and he also said that both players will be tough to beat out for the starting quarterback job. He also made a stat, or stated a stat on Cade McNamara, where over 50% of his drives ended with points last season. He also added that JJ also seemed to be leading scoring drives as well. He also added, after that, he said it's been a really good continuation from last year's team. He said that some of the players that were on the team, they put in the work, they know what it was like, that good feeling of seeing success. I will say I do expect this team this upcoming season to really have that same mentality in them, and that same culture shifting mentality here at Michigan. So I really do think this team next season can definitely, make the playoffs again, win the Big Ten. It obviously starts with beating Michigan State and Ohio State, your 2 rivals. And speaking of all of that, when asked about the goals for the season for Michigan, Harbaugh responded, "Our goals would to beat Ohio State and Michigan State in the same year, win the Big Ten championship, and win the national championship." So those are the 4 goals for Michigan football this season. Seems pretty satisfying if you are a Michigan fan there. And then other thing I want to talk about is he's talking about defense, and obviously the new defensive coordinator Jesse Minter. He also said that his brother John Harbaugh, head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, he also recommended Jesse Minter. So obviously John Harbaugh last year recommended Mike Macdonald to Jim Harbaugh, and Mike Macdonald succeeded tremendously here at Michigan, beating Ohio State for the first time in a long time, and leading Michigan to a Big Ten championship and into the playoffs. So hopefully Jesse Minter is exactly like that. He's also a very good coach, so his first season, we'll see how he does. As far as offensively goes, Harbaugh talked about Matt Weiss, obviously the co-offensive coordinator with Sharon Moore. But he talked about Matt Weiss, and he said that never met a play I don't like, and always feel that our players can execute anything. He said that we have the perfect blend between Matt and myself, and then Sharon Moore. So he seems to be loving his defensive and offensive staff right now. So now Harbaugh was also asked about the defense, obviously replacing a lot of players, including number 2 overall draft pick Aiden Hutchinson, and the talented David Ojabo, who was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens as well. And Harbaugh refers to his team as a no-star defense. Obviously a lot of competition. He also says that he thinks that they have a shot to be even better next season. So bold statement there from Coach Jim Harbaugh about the defense. And then the last question that Harbaugh was asked or talked about was Ryan Day asking for $13 million for NIL to keep the roster together. Harbaugh said that I think we can do more. We can double it. I think that's really possible at Michigan, and I think that's where we are headed. So another bold statement there on NIL, saying that Michigan can compete with Ohio State in the NIL, and quite frankly, Michigan can probably be one of the biggest earning schools for NIL in their student athletes. So more on Harbaugh, what he said about the players. He said the quarterback's really deep, the tight ends are really deep, and he also talked about Donovan Edwards and how great he's going to be next season. He's going to be a super special player, and he said he can literally do it all. Incredible balance, speed, vision, toughness, and he's just one of those guys. He also said the special teams is really good. He said that we've got a bunch of guys like this, like Donovan Edwards, and the guys that are just dreamers. They dream big, and very special, talented players on the team. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the defense later in the video to close the video out. Now we're going to talk about some of the Michigan players, what they had to say at Big Ten Media Day today. First of all, I just want to say Eric All is actually expecting to have a baby somewhere near the end of August, so congrats to him. Obviously, with the season approaching, people did say that they obviously have a whole plan, when or if the baby is being delivered, during an event, a practice, game, whatever, that they'll have easy transportation to get Eric All to the hospital. But so that's some good news for Eric All, having his first child. Now, a couple of things McNamara said. He just talked about how winning last season, beating Ohio State, winning the Big Ten championship, going to the playoffs helps this team a little bit. He said there's less weight on our shoulders as to the stress of we have to do this. He also said about last season that it was just a lot of, in a way, anxiety as to why is Coach Harbaugh on the hot seat? Why does he have to face the criticism? Because if anyone wants to beat Ohio State, it's Coach Harbaugh. He said, and I can promise you that. And he also said, and now that we got that for him, now that we know what that looks like, we are going to be even more confident going into that game next season. I ended that statement by saying Team 143 is a different team, and what Team 142 did last season doesn't really matter anymore. Now, one quote from Mozzie Smith, what he had to say, he said, personal goals are to be dominant and be a dominant defensive lineman, show people that I am not trying to play any games, been working on my conditioning, smaller parts of my game, and honing in. A lot of defensive line is repetition. You have to keep doing it over and over again. And one quote from DJ Turner, who was also there, he said, don't give up. You never know when your time is going to come. It's always different for different people. Stay ready. Do not go into a week not preparing for when you get your chance. Keep going in strong because you never know. And then a quote from tight end Eric All, who makes a very good point. I said, we haven't beaten Michigan State in 2 years. We need to get right and get them too. I said we will, and we will have a Michigan State drill soon as well. Obviously, the 4 main goals this season, according to Jim Harbaugh, for this Michigan team is to beat Michigan State, to beat Ohio State, to win the Big Ten championship, and to win the national championship. And the first step to all of those goals is to beat Michigan State first, and then Ohio State, then the Big Ten championship, and obviously the national championship. So it starts with beating Michigan State and Ohio State first, but that Michigan versus Michigan State game this season is definitely going to be huge. Now, another thing I want to touch up on of Caden McNamara, he was actually asked about, obviously, center Andrew Vistardis gone for Michigan. He was a great center, but then Michigan also got Oluwademi in the transfer portal, another great center from Virginia. So we are very, lucky to have his experience and talent on the season to just really fill in that offensive line, and that offensive line coming back from last season, one of the best offensive lines in college football, and they're going to continue the success this season. Caden McNamara said he was happy to have him, and he also said that me and Andrew Vistardis had a great connection as to where I'm seeing things and what he's seeing, and I think as me and Olu continue to get reps. If one of us is wrong, if we are all on the same page, we are all right. And then he was also asked about NIL, and Cade McNamara said, at least at the University of Michigan, we have not allowed NIL to affect our locker room. We have not allowed the transfer portal to affect us in a negative way. So we're gonna end this video by talking about the defense. Like I said, we obviously talked about Jim Harbaugh, what he said, saying the defense has the potential to be even better next season. Now he said this as well. He said that was a great defense last year, and we talked about some of the stars like Aiden Hutchinson, Dax Hill, and David Ojabo. He also said that last year there was no talk of David Ojabo, some real stars there, and people are asking, how are you going to replace those stars? And Harbaugh added, I have been part of many teams where the no-star defense was the better defense because there's more competition within the position groups. There are more guys hungry, like David Ojabo was a year ago, a hunger to be great. He said, that's why I feel as I watch it, I just have a sneaking suspicion that it could be even better going into next season. So we obviously lost a lot of talent on defense, but we also, got some freshmen coming in like Keon Sabb, Will Johnson. Another guy who has been actually doing really well is Mason Graham. All three of those guys are freshmen coming in to this season. So I think our defense will be fine. We had a lot of experienced players, a lot of players who played last season thanks to the system Mike McDonald had of rotating guys in his system. So that will definitely help, and it will pay dividend going into this season. But with that being said, it's pretty much gonna wrap up today's video. We talked about a lot of things were said. I just tried to focus on the main points here. So with that being said, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think of anything that was said at Big Ten Media Day here today for Michigan. And other than that, hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe for more. Hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and we will see you guys in the next video. Peace.